Dolores Catania was born on December 28th, 1970 in New Jersey. She has her moon in Sagittarius, and she always knows where she's going. And if she doesn't, she feels a little bit off. So you will always find that she has some sort of project or an event that she's planning, and that gives her direction in her life. Along with the moon, she also has the sun and Mercury. Now, mother may have had more of a role. There might have been in some instance that her father wasn't really present very much. Maybe he had to work more often and wasn't around. But there is a sense that the mother played some sort of a fathering role to her as she was growing up. Now, she does tend to have a lot of communication as well that is very opinionated. She's because of the sun and the moon being together, not only is she emotionally fiery, she's also got the sun giving her all of this energy as well. Now, with the Mercury aspect in there, you are going to hear her get fired up at times because she's going to be communicating from a fire sign aspect. Part of this fire sign is that she will speak her truth. She does know a lot. She likes to teach people and get people on the right page. She calls it as she sees it. But there will be a sense too when there's just too much going on, she'll disappear.
It's the first time living by myself. Well, my house wasn't done.
Dan, all right, come on.
Is this a lease or you rented it or
I'm renting it? So I own my house. I don't have a mortgage. And that's why I can afford different places. But now, I don't want to go back to my house.
This is the first time you're living alone, right?
Yeah. And you know what? It's freedom for me.
So there will be a sense of that. Now, speaking of her vitality with the sun, she also will have a sign of energy that has to do with action. I do know she has owned a gym, and she probably likes working out her legs or doing some sort of like walking, running, or some sort of leg workout. The emphasis on her legs is really going to be seen with so much planet action in the sign of Sagittarius. The Mercury in retrograde is a placement where she thinks better when Mercury is retrograde. So 3 times out of the year, you're going to see this phenomenon. When it's in the forward motion, she doesn't think so well. So she may even have some slip-ups on what she thinks she's hearing versus what she didn't hear. And there's just some sort of a little bit of a confusion because she's going to be on her toes when Mercury is moving backwards. So when it's retrograde. Now, she's also going to take on a youthfulness. Mercury really does show that she's very youthful in her quality of speech or just the way she carries herself. There's a youthfulness to it. Now, the sun and the moon are so close that she was actually born on a new moon. So that is the marking in her natal chart. And it really does show that she was always going to be somebody who was going to do something important with her life. Now they're not exact, but they're very close. They're like 2 degrees off. So the moon was pretty much, in its full bloom while she was being born. And that is kind of like a star is rising. So she was always going to somehow position herself for some sort of fame and stardom in her life. And for the longest time, you saw it inching. If you have followed the show from the beginning, she showed up on different scenes. So she was always around. She's known Teresa Giudice for years. I mean, they've had a friendship that goes way back. So it didn't surprise me when I saw her chart and then I saw how all of a sudden she came into this fame. And I'm not sure if she did in 2017, but there were a lot of indications that 2017 moving forward, she was probably going to rise into this fame. She has the North Node, we call Rahu in Vedic astrology. Rahu in Aquarius in her natal chart is also showing that she has always been a huge advocate for those in need, those who may be disabled or in need in finance or just in any kind of way. She's always there to help others. And this is always going to be a part of who she is because it's in her natal chart. Now, she does now have Saturn that has entered this realm, and she's going to ramp up her need to help others for the next 2.5 years. So basically, she probably is going to be starting more foundations. She's going to be the face of a lot of organizations that have to do with helping others.
Last year's charity softball game was such a success. This year, I want it to be even bigger.
The more she does, the better the karmic events that Saturn might bring into her life will actually dissipate. So I think that this is going to be a really good time for her to eliminate any negative energy that's coming her way by actually getting involved and more with helping those who are not as fortunate as herself. Her natal Aries has Saturn retrograde in this area. So this is going to be an indication, and she's probably already been noticing this anyway, that she tries to do a lot of things, but somehow things just don't happen on the timeline that she wants, and it can be quite frustrating. She may even notice this a lot with raising her children or trying to get organizations off the ground. There always seems to be some sort of a box that she didn't check off. And she's going to find that this has been happening even more so over the last few years because Uranus is transiting her natal Saturn retrograde. So it's causing a little bit of issue. Also adding to this issue is the fact that the transiting Saturn in Aquarius is going to aspect her natal Saturn. So there's going to be even more of a slowdown and make sure you do it right. Make sure you do it a way that all can benefit. She's going to find this a lot more, and it might even affect her individuality. There's a sense of a struggle with her wanting to be her own person and wanting to run off and just kind of do her own thing. But Saturn is always there holding her down. So there is a bit of frustration with that aspect in her natal chart. Her first husband, Frank, the relationship she had with him was very playful. Frank was filled with communication and a fun-loving attitude. However, his socializing caused him to allow this flirtation that he would have with others to bring chaos into her life. She also has a very interesting position with K2, which is the South Node in Leo. And in fact, she probably had some sort of fame as a child or in a past life. So this navigating how to be in this world of being a celebrity is like second nature to her. She's very careful to squash things, to ramp things up in order to get more attention. She's seasoned. This woman is seasoned, and it's a natural ability to know when to bring the drama and to know when to slow down that drama so that she comes away always looking good. So this is a really good ability that a person with K2 would have in Leo. This Leo position is also a sign that family is very important to her. She comes with a generational position with Virgo, where a lot of people will have this because these are slow-moving planets. So for her, having Uranus and Pluto combined in her natal chart also talks about her need to be healthy. She will try different health products, health regimens. She's down for health. So this is always going to be very visible for her because she's always going to be making little changes here and there. She's not afraid of that. And she's also going to be transformed by having pets. So you're always going to see in her home life, she's always going to have pets around because they ground her and they also transform her. And they also bring sudden changes into her life. So with health and how she does her work, you're always going to see sudden changes and transformation in how she does this. Unfortunately, some of this pending karma, we call it, because of Virgo, it will also be very public for her as well. So she will find at times that this emotional stability that she gains, there's a lot of times where she'll want to just disappear, run, go hide. If you don't invite her to things, she'll be like, I don't care. She's very flexible, and because she's got a lot in her mutable sign. So the mutable areas, which is the Sagittarius and the Virgo, is really going to allow her to kind of bob and weave with whatever comes her way. So she's really flexible with allowing things to just roll off her back. She doesn't really care about drama, but she knows how to bring drama. Now, as far as her relationships, she has Venus and Mars in Libra. So this is going to be a sign of a person who knows how to kind of shake things up when she's around women and when she's around men. There's a ability here for her to be very loving, but at times that she can be very spiteful and just tell you the way she thinks. Now with Libra, there is a sense of sometimes some of the things that she does in her relationships don't make sense. That's how Libra is. They are always trying to figure out how to balance relationships. And if a relationship is going too smoothly for them, they will rile it up by flipping up the scale. So there's a sense that she does this all the time in relationships. So if you have a relationship with her and you're a woman, you're going to have to kind of deal with a little bit of the aggression or passion that she might bring towards you being another female. She's not afraid to call it as it is. And in fact, she may be known for the one that calls it the way she sees it. So this is just who she is. Those who know her well love her, and it's not going to change. Now, there is a sense of a loss for the remainder of 2023 because the South Node K2 is going through her house of Libra. So she isn't going to be upset if she loses a few friends during this year. It's okay with her. She's weaning through friends right now. And with this attitude with Libra of, kind of balancing a lot of things, if the scale does not balance quite right and you walk away from her, she's going to let you go because she's very flexible. Remember, she's not one that is going to grab a hold of you and make you stay around her. She's very flexible with all things she does in her life. Dolores is very passionate about her female friendships and associations she is involved in. It's important her desires are balanced, and she may put people on pause until she feels she can trust them. So a lot of this probably is being seen on the show as well, especially with her relationship with Teresa. There's a lot of sense of a pause and go. And that's because there's a lot of flexibility with her. But again, it's really coming from this Libra and her need to kind of test people. And if you don't pass the test, she'll put you on pause for a minute until you can behave and do it the Dolores way. Now, Dolores has in Scorpio, Jupiter, and Neptune. So this Jupiter aspect will kind of speak about the husband in her natal chart, because the Jupiter is always a husband for women, and the need for Neptune to kind of cloud everything. So for the most part, when she's married or has a really good, solid partner, she doesn't always see them for who they are. This is a phenomenon she's always going to have. And if she can kind of trust other people to kind of guide her when she's got a partner, it will go well with her because she doesn't always see her partners for who they are. There is a sense too that she might have a little bit of spidey sense, because I think she might be a little bit psychic as well. And I think she reads people who, and can tell who she should and should not be around. But the Jupiter aspect expands it even more and kind of gives it almost a conspiracy. She even may be a conspiracy theorist and love that kind of stuff, but on the down low. She might not tell a lot of people, but she might be into that. But I'm just looking at Jupiter placement makes Dolores discover what is done behind her back. So she's always going to figure things out. And she has a powerful sixth sense, and she should trust her feelings when she cannot explain them. And it's pretty much that Scorpion sense that's coming through. She does have that sixth sense, and she really needs to count on it, not second guess it, because she's always going to have this weird feeling with partners that she's with, that she wants to trust and believe in them, but that Scorpio aspect is going to bring up the truth, whether she likes it or not. She's going to have to deal with things. So that's my reading all about Dolores Catania.